Welcome to Jaunty Haunts, the podcast about all things supernatural. After 30 years of keeping a secret, I'm finally ready to share with the world that I see ghosts. Yep, I've been having conversations with the other side while trying to keep up appearances. This podcast is all about getting spooky and connecting with others who might also sense, see, or feel things beyond the ordinary. We'll swap true tales of the seen and unseen, and maybe even laugh about the weird stuff we've experienced. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, come join me as we explore the paranormal. Let's connect, share, and maybe feel a little less crazy together. Welcome to Jaunty Haunts.
Hey ghoul friends, what's up? Happy Friday! Coming at you with a little bonus episode, Charlie Mewshaw Part 2, because as I mentioned on social media, if you follow me, there was an issue with my export of episode 1. He had some really fun, cool, unexplained hauntings and experiences, and that's literally the whole point of this show, and I somehow failed to put that segment into the first part of the episode. So, hey, all fun, all good, we get a bonus episode. So, it's going to be shorter, obviously. This is just going to be him sharing his unexplained experiences, but I do hope you enjoy. I hope it's a fun way to kick off your weekend with some spooky stories. So, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great weekend. Bye!
Okay, so Charlie, you just mentioned you have some unexplained encounters, and I want to hear them. So can we hear about these unexplained phenomena you've experienced?
Absolutely. So I don't have the big encounter of like I saw something, right? Like
right.
I've not had that experience. I don't have the experience of like I felt something touch me or I smelled a smell. What I have is I was living in, I guess I can say this because the current occupant says it's haunted. In what is probably a haunted house. I was living in a basement apartment of my friend's grandparents' house at the time. And they had passed away. And I was living in the basement apartment. And I was in bed. And I had I'm sounding such a dork, it's okay. And a talking Obi-Wan Kenobi action figure.
I love it, yeah.
Like the old Alec Guinness one, like not Ewan McGregor, but Alec
yes.
Guinness. And so I'm laying there in bed, and like my friend had already told me, he's like, I think my grandfather's haunting the house. My grandfather's not haunting the house. He's like, no, you don't understand. There's just one light. It's above his desk, and like it does weird stuff. I'm like, their house is old.
Right.
It probably has electrical problems.
Right.
And he's like, no. It only does it when his favorite song comes on. And I'm like, you're just trying to freak me out. Leave me alone. So I'm in bed one night in my apartment. There's no one else around. And from my closet where like I had the action figure on the shelf, that's no moon. It's a space station. The Obi-Wan Kenobi line. And I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah.
So then it does it again. And then it waits a couple of seconds. And then it does it again and again and again.
Oh my gosh.
So at this point, I stand up and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it's going, that's no moon, it's a space station. That's no moon, it's a space station. And I swing open the closet door and it stops. And I'm looking at it like, okay, so the battery in this thing is a little like lithium battery, like the little disc kind. Like in his back, it had like cloth clothes under like 3 layers of clothes screwed in. There's no way I'm getting to this battery. Like,
right.
I'm like, it's like 2:00 in the morning. I am not like waking. So I just like took him in the other room and like shoved him in a box.
Yeah.
Went back to bed. It was just like, that was freaky. It never did it again. It had never done it before. It never did it again. I have no idea why it was doing it. But in that same apartment, like a week or 2 later, I'm in bed, middle of the night. Obi-Wan's in his box in the other room, so he can't haunt me. And I hear, and then the water start running in the bathroom.
Wait,
and
what?
I'm like, this stupid house and its creaky old pipes. The water pressure's off. It opened a valve.
Oh.
Now, that's what I told myself. And if you understand how plumbing works, that doesn't happen. Like, that's not the way the ball sits in the valve. Like, that's not
how a mechanism would work.
Right.
Yeah. So you got haunted. Yeah.
So at this point, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then, so I think the last not the last straw, because I really do appreciate it. It was a nice place. They had a pool. But something that I was just like, oh man, I don't know what's going on with me. I was putting it all on me at this point.
Okay.
I'm just like, this is all on me. This is all on me. Like, I don't know what's going on, but this is all on me. I slept walked
Mm-hmm.
completely out of the apartment and didn't wake up until I hit the snow outside. I was just like in my boxers,
Whoa.
standing out in the snow, and I was just like, something's going on with this weird house. I don't know what's going on with this house.
Yeah.
This apartment, but like the damn doll is talking. The water's turning on and off. I'm sleepwalking all the time. I just like wound up outside. Like, how did I get that far? Like, I don't understand. Like, there's too much weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like in succession that I was just like, something's going on. I'm freaked out. This is weird. I didn't like run away and move out immediately, but I was just like, well, I'm pretty sure the house is haunted. And I'm pretty sure the old man is haunting me.
Yeah. Had you ever sleepwalked before that?
A little bit.
A little
not
bit.
Like that.
Not like that.
Not like that.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Also, my cat was just staring at me at that point. So, like, I wake up and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And my cat's just sitting inside the door staring out at me like, what are you doing?
Oh my god. Oh, I got chills. Yeah. The cats always know, I feel like. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I love to hear this. So then overall, what you've taken away from this is like, yeah, I just don't know. Like you can't. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, right? Like, so I knew him. He knew me.
Right.
Like, I knew the grandpa. Like, it's not like I was a stranger.
Yeah. You're like, why are you bothering me then? Yeah.
Right. And like my friend, the grandson, who now lives in the home, still maintains. He's like, no, my house is definitely haunted. And then, like, it's my grandfather.
Yeah.
And so he maintains that. He's got his own stories of stuff. They have since like remodeled the house, rewired it, and there's still weird stuff.
Right.
So he's like, no, it's him. He was haunting you. And I'm just like, I guess so. All right then. Cool. Thanks. Thanks for that.
That's a very cool story. Literally multiple occurrences. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it took me years to kind of come around on that. Because for a long time I was like,
yeah.
I thought there was this bar that it had to rise to with like, oh, I saw something, or I felt something touch me, or I smelled their perfume, or like stuff like that.
Sure.
Because those are the experiences that anyone that I've ever talked to, that I believe, has had, right? So I'm like, oh, I don't have that.
Right.
I just don't have it. Like, I don't have the switch that
Right.
lets me see purple.
Yeah.
To go back to the earlier thing, like, I don't have it. Is what I've always thought, but like I don't know that you necessarily have to have the switch to have an experience.
Right.
You might have that, and I keep saying this completely unscientific thing that we just made up today.
Yeah.
The switch. You know, that facilitates a deeper experience, but you don't need it to perceive that something is going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's interesting too. And again, it's like, man, I hope in our lifetime, right? Because I think some spirits or some energies just are like more supercharged or powerful or whatever you want to say than others, so that they can affect people who do or don't have the switch or are connected or trying to or not. It's just like, yeah, it's, unquestionably haunted, things like that.
Right.
Oh, hey there, listeners. Courtney here with Jaunty Haunts. Sorry to interrupt this paid programming, JK, this programming, to recommend some podcasts that you should listen to and that you should check out. These are creators who I have done some interviews with and spoken with, and their shows are awesome. So, first show is the Red Treehouse podcast. This is your official invitation to join Will in the Red Treehouse, where he'll tell you the creepiest, eeriest, and most terrifying tales to keep you up at night. And along the way, you'll be challenged to consider what you believe. Does the paranormal and supernatural really exist, or is it a figment of an overactive imagination? I mean, we know what I think, but episodes release twice each week and can be found wherever you stream podcasts. It's a scary world out there, Let's explore it together in the Red Treehouse. So guys, check out the Red Treehouse podcast. Another one is Arcane Carolinas. Check out Arcane Carolinas for an informed but fun-spirited look at the verifiable history and science behind stories about ghosts, cryptids, UFOs, and plain old weird stuff. Their research methods have turned up enough surprising information about the origins of lore that the Arcane Carolinas books have been preserved in state archival libraries. Arcane Carolinas is available on all major podcast services. Do you question reality? Are you drawn to UFOs, time slips, premonitions, or the mysteries of consciousness? Then you need to check out the Close Encounters Club podcast. Hosted by Justin Gearhart, a skeptic with an open mind, Close Encounter Club features real people sharing their encounters with the unexplainable. He's joined by his producer Josh, chiming in from Australia with his own curious takes. They also bring on scientists and experts who are actually trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So, if you've ever stared at the sky and felt like something was staring back, this one's for you. Search Close Encounter Club wherever you get your podcasts. Tell them Jaunty sent you. Another one to check out is Opening Kill. Opening Kill is the new podcast that covers the terrifying world of horror films. From the latest movie news to an in-depth look at a featured film and a peek at the chilling horror films to come, Opening Kill has you covered. Whether it's gore, suspense, or supernatural thrills, Opening Kill is the ultimate horror deep dive. Hosted by Brian O'Connor and Michael Duran. Listen to Opening Kill on your favorite podcast platform every Thursday. And also Believing in the Bizarre podcast. Also guys, Hidden in the Shadows podcast, another great one. And just for funsies, just to shout it out there, maybe they'll hear one day, maybe I'll meet them, I don't know. My favorite all-time fun, spooky paranormal podcasts are, of course, Spooked by Snap Judgment, A Funny Feeling podcast with Betsy and Marcy, and Ghosted by Roz Hernandez. So just some fun recommendations for you guys. I love to boost and promote other podcasts that I resonate with. If you want a shout out, please reach out. I'd love to spread the word. Anyway, back to the show.
That's a great story. Okay, well, before we go, anything else? Any other things like that?
Something dragged something through a campsite that I was asleep in once.
Oh.
It's like one of my big cryptid stories where I'm like, what was that?
Yeah, yeah, please.
I have no idea what it was. I'm not claiming that it was anything extraordinary, but it was a really scary experience, and I think it illustrates how vulnerable people are in nature, and we need to, like, when we're in nature on the cryptozoology side, understand that we're in their environment.
Exactly. Yep.
Right. So the Appalachian Trail, I've hiked portions of it. I'm not a through hiker, but I have hiked portions of it. And I was out there with a buddy who is an experienced, I'll call woodsman. And we were camping, and he's the kind of guy that he sleeps on the ground. Like, he rolls his little mat out, sleeps on the ground, and doesn't have a tent, hangs like a poncho from a tree with a string. Very exposed. I'm not that.
No.
I have a giant backpack
Yeah.
that fits, like, my tent, my pad, my other pad.
Your meal prep.
Right. All the,
everything.
You know, I am not an ultralight camper at all.
Yeah.
Like, my backpack is very heavy. So I'm in my tent, and I hear what sounds like somebody almost like the sound when you drag a trash can down the sidewalk.
Yeah.
But we're in the woods, so it's on the, like, hard dirt and rocks. Right through the middle of our camp. Now, our bags were tied up in trees, like, a ways off. There should not have been bears where we were.
Okay.
Which was the first thing. There should not have been people out that late where we were, because we were off trail at like 3 o'clock in the morning was when we heard it. And so I hear this, and I'm just like, the hell is that? So I lay there, like, terrified.
Right.
And I wait. I wait till it sounds like it's gone far enough away, and I whisper out to him, like, hey. He goes, shut up. Like, that's it. Like, that's it.
Oh my god.
So I'm like, okay. So I'm just, like, in my tent. And I wait, like, another, like, I don't know, felt like an eternity. And I'm just like, did you hear that?
Yeah.
He's like, yes, I heard that. Shut up. I'm like, what is he? He's like, I don't know, but I don't want it to come back. Be quiet.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
okay. So then I just like laid in there, and like we wake up. And my first thought is like, we got to find the bags. Like something tore the bags out of the tree and was dragging the bags.
Right.
Bags are up in the trees. Fine. Go looking around. We're like looking for prints. There's no prints.
There were no prints?
Nope. And something was dragging. When I say it sounded like a trash can being dragged down the sidewalk, except it was over dirt and rocks.
Right.
Like, there should have been a trail. There should have been prints. And there was nothing. And so we kind of laughed about it while we like made breakfast and coffee. And we're just like, all right,
yeah.
I was like, maybe it was a serial killer hiding a body.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it was, and he was like, it wasn't a serial killer hiding a body. Maybe it was Bigfoot. He said, it wasn't Bigfoot. Maybe it was a bear. It probably wasn't a bear. I don't know what it was, but you heard it and I heard it, and it was big.
Wow.
But didn't hear bear sounds either, to go back to the thing we were talking about earlier. So, yeah. Anyway, there's my freaky haunting and my freaky was it a cryptid or not.
Oh my God. Well, that is like the scariest story I've ever heard, first off, because spirits are like scary, right? Whatever. But like you can kind of always find a way to explain them away because there is no proof. But like there is nothing scarier than like a possible human trying to potentially like murder you or hiding a body. And I want to ask you one more question because you were in, the Appalachian Trail. And the thing I keep seeing like on social media and everywhere is like the folklore of the Appalachian Mountains is like if you see something, no, you didn't. If you heard something, no, you didn't, or whatever. Like, is that something you grew up with, or is that true at all? Or
that's not the way I was raised.
Okay.
But I also wasn't raised in the mountains.
Sure.
So, I've heard that as well. I've always been just told to give a healthy respect to nature and be inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Late at night.
Yeah. Because
have you ever heard a wildcat scream?
Yeah. Yes. It's like a woman being murdered. It sounds like.
Yeah, it's horrific. I remember the first time I heard that as a teenager when I was like out in the woods when it was later than you should be out in the woods.
Right.
And heard that and was just like, what was that?
Right.
And like now I know what it is. But at the time, like I'm like, oh, this is why they tell us to stay inside.
Yes. There is nothing, and I'm sure you can attest to this. There's nothing like being in front or nearby an animal that like can harm you, and hearing it like full force roar or growl or like it's wild. It's like you were saying of just like being respectful, right?
Yeah. So one of the things that's interesting, and I know we're at time, and I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Please continue. Yeah, I know you're good.
So infrasound. The same way we have infrared light that's outside of the visible light spectrum, there's a thing called infrasound. And there's certain wavelengths of sound, like 19 hertz, and I think it's 19 hertz, and 17 hertz. And there have been studies that show that the way the brain processes sounds at those specific wavelengths, like clinically induces fear, sensations of dread. Like there's been experiments about this.
Yes.
I did did I do a reel about this? I'm pretty sure I did. Anyway,
I gotta find it.
There was this one researcher that went around and figured out that like he went to a couple different places where hauntings were being reported, and it's like, oh, there's however many hertz here, like interesting, and was able to find a direct correlation. And was just like, great, well, there's a haunting, and this is consistent. And then he went to another location where there was people were saying they were seeing something out of the corner of their eye. They were having feelings of being watched. They were having overbearing senses of dread. And he found the same thing there. And it was just like, huh.
Wow.
So that to me is like super cool, going back to what we were talking about with consistency.
Yeah.
And like, oh, we were able to replicate the sensation here. We were able to replicate the sensation here.
Yes.
How this ties into animals, to bring it back to what you were talking about, is that certain predators, their growls, roars, whatever, have infrasound at those frequencies as part of their vocalization. Mm-hmm. So, like, there's the part of the wavelength that you hear, but then on the very end of the wavelength, there's those like certain wavelengths of sound that like instill that like sense in you of like, oh no.
Yes. Yeah.
So like there's a very much a physiological reason for that feeling.
That's
when
so
you
cool.
look at a tiger and hear that tiger growl.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Wow, the purple sounds, right? You don't
Right. Yeah, exactly. Sure, exactly.
That's so cool. Wow. Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for letting us go back into that and sharing your stories. I honestly, I feel bad. I was judging because I was like, I don't think he'll probably have like a ghost story, right? He's like very scientific, but this, it just shows, like you said, anything can happen to anyone, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know what it was. I accept that that house is probably haunted.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, can I explain it? Nope.
Yeah. Wow.
To this day, I can't explain it. That action figure, I still have it.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Has never done that before. Has never done that since.
Wow.
It only happened that one night in that one house.
You should use that as your like your new EMF reader. Like if you go on like a paranormal investigator.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. To see if it
Use
starts
the
talking.
force. Use the force.
Literally.
Thanks so much for listening. Remember, you are not alone if you've ever heard a bump in the night or caught something out of the corner of your eye. There are countless others who experience things they can't explain. And this podcast is your safe place to listen and share. Also, I want to remind everyone that this show is for entertainment purposes. I am not a professional paranormal investigator. I did not go to school to study this. I can only speak about my first-hand experiences. And with that, I'd love to mark the importance of spiritual inclusion. Your thoughts, ideas, and theories about the other side are welcome. And we know that so much of our common knowledge and perception about the paranormal stems from historical and cultural experiences. So we are open to your knowledge and understanding of things that we may be ignorant about or not fully understand. Let's learn and grow together. Stay spooky, and we'll see you next time. Hey ghoul friends, got a spooky story to share? Well, I want to hear about your haunts. Whether you've seen a ghost or something unexplainable, send your supernatural experiences to us at jauntyhaunts@gmail.com. That's JAUNTYHAUNTS@gmail.com. Or DM us on Instagram at jauntyhauntspod. That's jauntyhaunts_POD. You can also find us on TikTok and YouTube under Jaunty Haunts Podcast. I want to hear from you.